There are two main reasons why my sales this week were pretty great. The first thing that happened on eBay is I got out of eBay jail, and I did that, I think, by running a sale, because if you've been watching my What Sold videos, you know that eBay has been very mad at me for not listing consistently.
That's how you die!
I was faking. I used Ninja Focus to slow my heart rate down.
And then the second thing that helped give me a great sales week is in the form of an angel named Norma, a viewer who came in and bought a 13-piece bundle from me on Poshmark. Let's get into it. Hi everyone, my name is Becky Park. I am a part-time reseller on a bunch of different reselling platforms, and in today's video we're going to be talking about sales that I made on 3 different platforms, and I'm going to share with you all of the information that I can about each item that sold, where it came from, how much I paid for it, how much net profit I made on that item. So if that sounds interesting to you and if you enjoy content like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button. But let's jump right into everything that sold for me, because there's a good amount of items. The first day of sales that we'll talk about is the 12th of February, and that was actually a Wednesday, which means on the 10th and 11th, I had no sales. Nobody wanted to buy any of my stuff. Again, I suspect that this is a result of me just not having listed for a while. Like, I've probably listed a total of like 10, 15 things in the last, I don't know, like 3 to 4 weeks, which is not where I want to be. My goal is actually to list a minimum of 5 items a day, but I've just been finding it almost impossible to do with the crazy schedule that I have. Hopefully that lightens up soon, but also I could make time for it. I just don't. I've been doing a lot of needless scrolling on my phone and watching Nate Bargatze clips that I've already seen like multiple times, and I just keep rewatching them because I think he's so funny. But we are going to start by talking about the sales that I had on the 12th of February, which is a Wednesday. On eBay, I sold this pair of vintage Brooks Brothers tan high-waisted equestrian pants. They even had like little stirrups on the bottom. They were in a women's size 26. I got these last January, so I've definitely had them listed for close to a year, and I sold them for $35 on eBay. They were promoted at 3% as well, but I had $340 into them from a clothes mentor that I went to about an hour and a half away from where I live. I was in another town in Illinois with some of my students who had qualified for All-State, and so while they were in rehearsals, I went out and sourced and went to a bunch of thrift stores and also this clothes mentor. I went back to that same conference this year for the All-State Music Festival, and I called Clothes Mentor to see if they were doing their huge sale. I think it was like a 90% off sale, but they were like, no, that was 2 weeks ago. And I was like, it was so sad. I was actually really sad that I missed it. So I didn't even go there this year. I just went to a few Goodwills and called it a day. But I only had $3.40 into it. My net profit was $25.20. And I just thought they were so cool. I kind of assumed I would have to hold on to them for a while because I assumed that I would just need to wait for the perfect buyer to come along and buy those. But yeah, I was really happy with that sale. And then the next sale on eBay on the 12th was this pair of Skechers Gratis Cozy and Carefree air-cooled memory foam gray sneakers in a women's 8.5. Those sold for $19.99. I got them at a local consignment store during their 80% off clearance on Black Friday. So I had $4 into them and my net profit was $12.96. And you know, that's not an exciting sale, but they sold so fast. I want to say that was like one of the, 15 items that I've listed in the last 3 weeks. And once I listed them, they sold literally like the next day or 2 days later. So while they were not an exciting sale, it was a fast flip. And honestly, like that is equivalent to me of an item selling for $50, but it takes a year or 2 to sell. You know what I mean? Obviously, ideally, you are just flipping $50 items and they only take a day or 2 to sell, but I'm not finding a lot of those kinds of things. So I'm happy with that, just like I'm happy with my vintage Brooks Brothers equestrian pants that takes a year to sell. It is what it is. And then moving on to the 13th of February, which was a Thursday, on eBay, I sold this Nautica black wool blend pea coat in a men's size 44L. I put words like pockets, office, professional in the listing title. That one, on that Thursday, I decided, you know what, like enough is enough. eBay really is upset with me. I need to do something to get back in its good graces. So I put my entire store on sale for 30% off, and that really seemed to kind of help pick things up for me when it comes to eBay. So this sold for 30% off as part of that sale for $22.39. I think my mother-in-law gave this to me, so I don't think I had any money into it. And my net profit was $20.47. Nautica is not a brand that I get excited about, but you know, if it's an outerwear like pea coat type of situation, chances are you're gonna be able to sell it for at least like, I don't know, $20, $25. And that's what happened there. Also on the 13th on Poshmark, I sold this new with tags Calvin Klein scuba knit color block sleeveless sheath dress in a women's size 6. This I picked up at a local consignment store during a 75% off clearance sale. It was like a tag sale. So I had $9 into it, which is why when this person first sent me an offer of like $20. I think I had it listed for $50 because Calvin Klein career dresses can do pretty well, especially if they're a more current style, which I don't know that this was, but it was new with tags, so I had it listed for $50. This person came in with like a $20 offer and I had $9 into it and I was like, that's just not gonna cut it. So I think I countered with like 35 and she kept coming up like $1 and I was like, I'm not gonna do that. I came down to 30 and then she'd keep coming up to like 22 and I just kept coming back with 30 and she'd be like 23 and I'm like 30. Like I just wouldn't go below 30 and finally she bought it at 30. And sometimes those kinds of people who send offers like that, sometimes I get weary because I'm like, ugh, they're just gonna find any reason to nitpick and leave a bad review or want to return it. But I think that one is okay. I think it got delivered and I haven't heard anything. Nothing is better than, you know, 1-star rating, which also I don't care about that much because people on Poshmark can't see your bad ratings. They only see your 5-star love notes. So I made a net profit of $15 on that. It sold relatively quickly. I'm happy with it, but that was just kind of annoying. And then on Valentine's Day, the Lord sent me Norma. Norma on Valentine's Day. Actually, maybe she came in on the 13th and I noticed she was liking a lot of things. And a lot of times what I will do is if people like a few items in my closet, I will put all of those items in a bundle and I will send a message in the bundle saying something along the lines of, hey, I noticed that you liked a few items in my closet. I thought I would send you an offer with discounted shipping. She had liked a ton of items in my closet and I just took my shot, right? Like I was like, hey, I'm sending you a great offer on these items with discounted shipping. Maybe I offered free shipping. I don't remember. And I was like, let me know what you think. Usually it results in nothing. Like I don't even get a response from the person. This person, Norma, said, hey, I'm just looking right now, but I just want you to know I love your channel and I'm just kind of looking around for things that I will purchase eventually. And I was like, oh my gosh, like no worries. Thank you so much for watching. And like, don't feel pressured to buy anything from me. You know, like you don't ever need to do that. And I didn't really think anything of it. The next day, I see some activity in my Poshmark closet. I'm getting these notifications about like, hey, people are adding things to a bundle. And I look and it's Norma and she's adding all these things to a bundle. And I'm like, what is she doing? Because again, I'm not really expecting her to buy anything. The next thing I know, there are 13 items in her bundle and she has sent me an offer on it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it was amazing. So the next 13 items that I talk about on Poshmark are all items that I sent to Norma. I don't even know how to say thank you properly and appropriately. Like that was just so huge. It was just so amazing. Norma, thank you so much. What I did with the 13-piece bundle was I split it into 2 because of the fact that I was not going to be able to fit all 13 in a 5-pound box. So I split it into 2. I paid for shipping on one and she paid for shipping on one. And she was like, let me pay for shipping on both. And I was like, absolutely not. That's crazy. But thank you. Here are the items that she got. So the first item that Norma got was this pair of Mark Fisher Latica tan leather lug sole slip-on chunky loafers in a women's size 9. Latica was the style name, and Latica also makes me think of Slumdog Millionaire. Do you remember that movie? That was such a good movie. When he's like, Latica! Anyway. Latica! Those, I'm saying, sold for $33.45. I had $5 into them, I'm saying, because I don't remember where I got those, and I don't know why I don't remember where I got those, because that was a pretty recent pickup. Like, it's not like I've had those listed forever. I'm pretty sure I got them at a consignment store, but my net profit on those was $20.37. The next item that she bought was this Vineyard Vines Coral 100% linen V-neck t-shirt in a women's size small. I used words like coastal and preppy for that listing. It sold for $16.72. I had $5 into that item from a a local consignment store's 75% off clearance tag sale. And so my net profit was $7.69. And by the way, you might be like, how are you arriving at these sold prices? Because Poshmark doesn't deal with cents. You know, they'll say it sold for $16 or $17, but I'm getting this from my reseller genie. Actually, my reseller genie pulls all of my sales data from Poshmark, eBay, Mercari, and when it's a bundle sale, they will actually do the math for you of this is how much your bundle sold for. This was the discount that you offered. Therefore, your items actually sold for X amount. So they did all of that math. I'm just pulling this information from them. If you are in need of a bookkeeping software, my Reseller Genie is pretty fantastic. I do have a link for them down in the description below, and that's what I use to help me do my numbers. It's kind of a combination of them and List Perfectly, which is overkill, but that's just how I do it. I just like to have records in a couple different places. The next thing that Norma got from me was this Joanna Barashi. I'm probably saying that wrong, but it's a pretty cool brand. It's a hard brand for me to move quickly, but they make some pretty cool and quirky things. But this was the red fleur de lis, don't know if I'm saying that right either, Parisian 100% silk necktie blouse in a women's size medium. That sold for $33.45. I had $7.50 into it from a local consignment store. Same thing, it was 75% off at their tag sale. This is from last August. And so my net profit was $17.87. The next item to sell was this Talbot's rainbow striped off the shoulder short sleeve shirt in a women's size large. You guys, I got this in 2021 at a local consignment store. I got it for $1, but I just remember being like, oh, it's kind of cute. It's like a, you know, really fun, bright, multicolor Talbot's piece. Nobody cared. Nobody wanted it, but Norma did. Norma knew. Norma and I have similar taste, I guess, but it sold for $18.06 and I made a net profit of $12.70. She also got this J. Crew pink relaxed fit 100% linen beach sweater in a women's size large. I used the word coastal for that as well. That one sold for $23.41. I had $5.25 into it from a 75% off clearance tag sale at a local consignment store back in September. So my net profit on that was $12.51. And she also got this really great Sandro gray wool cashmere blend sleeve dress in a women's size 8. It had an embellished neckline with like, you know, just like not rhinestones, but I don't know, you know, it's bedazzled. That one sold for $66.91. I'm saying I had $35.20 into it. And I got that at a local consignment store in October of 2023. I think that, you know, this particular consignment store has a lot of really great luxury brands actually, or just like higher end brands, but that particular section of the store rarely goes on sale, maybe once a year. And I think this was that one period where a lot of their luxury brands went on sale. This item I had maybe still a little too much into. I only made a net profit of $15.54 on that, but I was okay with it because I'd had it for well over a year and it was going to a new and wonderful home. So I was not about to complain about that. Norma also got this top by The Great, which is an amazing brand. I was so excited to find this at a Goodwill in LA when I went with my family to visit my mother-in-law last summer. It was just hanging there and it was half off at a local Goodwill. I could not believe my luck, but it was the topiary floral ruffle top in Spicy Mesa. That was the color. It was in a size 3. They do kind of like, I don't know, weird vanity sizing, which is like a women's large. And I put the word boho in the listing title. That one I think I had listed for $100, and with the discount that I offered to Norma, that came out to like $57.31 for the sales price. And I had $4 into it from that LA Goodwill, which is amazing. And my net profit on that was $41.85. I also sold her this pair of Vionic Zen leather red orange walking sneakers in a women's size 9. Those sold for $22.93. I had $6.80 into it from a Goodwill that I went to last year in January when I went on that all-state music trip. So I had $6.80 into that. And after about a year of it being listed, I made a net profit of $11.54. I also sold her this Ralph Lauren red plaid ruffle button-up shirt in a women's size large that was made of 100% linen. It sold for $20.06. I had $5 into it from my friend's garage sale, and so my net profit was $11.05 on that. I also sold her this Athleta Girl, which is Athletic Girl still a thing? I know Aviva, which is Lululemon's children line, is no longer sold, but let me know if you know about Athletic Girl. This was the Power Up camo top long sleeve athletic shirt in a youth girl size medium. That one sold for $14.33, and to be honest with you, I picked it up for my daughter. She was like, I'm not gonna wear that. I was like, cool. So I'm saying I had $4 into it. That's probably what I paid for it at a local consignment store. And my net profit was $7.46. I also sold her this really cute Zara patchwork crochet cottagecore two-piece set. It had like a peasant blouse and then this really cute skirt like bottom in a youth size 10. I did get that for my daughter as well. I got it at a local consignment store. She did wear both of those pieces, but never together, I feel like. Like they never fit her at the same time, but she did wear that. I did sell it after she outgrew it for $28.65. I'm saying I had no money into it because my daughter did wear it, so my net profit was $22.92. And then the last item that I sold her was this vintage Alfred Dunner embroidered floral cable knit collar sweater in a women's size medium. I thought this was so cool. I got it in November at a Goodwill about an hour away. I think, that's when my kids had a different music festival. And while they were rehearsing, I went out and sourced and I picked that up for $5.99 at a Goodwill over there. It sold for $20.06. And so my net profit was $10.06. All in all, I think, let's see, she bought everything for $384. And I paid to ship one of the bundles, like I said, and she paid for the other. And yeah, there was a huge discount, but also like she bought so many items and I'm just so thankful. So Norma, I hope you love everything. I don't know what she plans on doing with all of that stuff. You know, most of it was kind of in the same size, so it makes me think that it's for her. And if it's not, I don't care. If she's going to resell some of that stuff, I don't care. It was just really nice to move that many pieces after having kind of a rough sales week last week, and just really nice for her to come out and support me in that way. So thank you so much. I hope you love everything. The next thing to sell on Valentine's Day, I actually did have some more Poshmark sales as well, but the next sale that we'll talk about was actually on eBay. It was this Doncaster collection blue floral ruched sleeve top in a women's size 2. This one I got at a local Goodwill for $3.99. It sold for $13 and my net profit was $6.01. And I remember picking this up because the consignment store that I've talked a lot about in this video, where I get a lot of my items, they do a lot of tag sales and they have that one luxury section or like higher end designer section that never goes on sale. This brand, Doncaster, is in that section all the time. There's a lot of like blazers and career wear type pieces that are in that section. And so for the longest time, I always thought that Doncaster was like a really expensive brand because I would see it next to brands like The Sea or Mage or Kate Spade, you know, and I thought it was in the same leagues. I don't think that it is. Should I tell them that? Like, should I be like, guys, you have to stop putting Doncaster over here? I don't know. This sold for $18. I made a $6.01 profit. I don't touch this brand anymore. But going back to some Poshmark sales, I sold this pair of Mark Fisher K. Chris, I think that was the style name, black patent faux leather heeled loafers in a women's size 6. I put Y2K in the title just because I feel like it had kind of Y2K vibes. They were real chunky and yeah, just kind of like that. They sold for $40. I had $14.99 into them, so my net profit was only $17.01. I did have those listed for close to a year. I got them last year at a Goodwill when my students were at a music festival. So I've had them listed for a while, but I was happy to finally move them. And then back to some eBay sales on Valentine's Day. I sold this pair of Levi's ribcage straight ankle white jeans in a women's size 29. They had some stretch to them, and I put words like denim and neutral in the listing title as well. I sold those for $34.99. I think that was my 30% off sales price, if I'm not mistaken. I had $3.75 into them from my favorite local consignment store. They were having a 75% off tag sale. And so my net profit on those jeans was $26.97. So I feel like jeans have been such a great seller for me all winter long, like just all winter long. I have been selling jean after jean after jean. There's going to be another jean sale that I talk about here. Yeah, I'm still selling them. So if you have jeans, get them listed. They're moving really well for me. The next eBay sale was this beautiful J. Crew collection pull-on skirt. Maybe the style name is Ratty? I don't know, Ratty? Pacific Paisley blue floral skirt in a size small. You've heard me talk about J. Crew collection in the past, how it is really expensive, but that doesn't really translate when it comes to resale. People don't want to spend a lot of money on it, even if it's very expensive to begin with. But I sold this for $31.49. It was part of my 30% off sale, and I picked it up for $3.75 at my local consignment store because it was part of a 75% off clearance sale back in September. So I had a $22.72 profit on that item, and I was very happy with that. That's about what I'm expecting to do even with J. Crew collection, but sometimes you can get that even with regular J. Crew. So J. Crew collection, don't put a lot of stock into it just because it says collection in it, just because you know that it retailed for a lot more than regular J. Crew. People who are buying on reselling platforms don't care. They're not going to pay you a premium because it says J. Crew collection on there. They're going to treat it as if it's regular J. Crew. So it was a great Valentine's Day. What did I do on Valentine's Day with my husband? Let me think. What did we do? I think we went to H Mart. It's like an Asian grocery store. Did we go there and eat? No, we didn't. I'm gonna have to think about this. I think we went to a restaurant though. You know what we did? We got these shrimp nachos that I really like. They're not just shrimp. It's like nachos with shrimp, chicken, and steak. We got that from one of our favorite Mexican restaurants. I think that's what we did. Kids had like volleyball and gymnastics practice, and we got nachos. So that was our Valentine's Day. Let me know down in the comments, what did you do for Valentine's Day? Did you beat us? Did you do anything a little bit more romantic than that? I can't imagine what you could have done, but that's what we did. But moving on to the 15th, which was pulling up my calendar, which was a Saturday. On Depop, here is my one and only Depop sale of the week. I sold this very surprising sale. It was this pair of New Balance 990 version 5 black leather running shoes, or like sneakers in a women's size 8. They were made in the USA. I got these on Black Friday at a local consignment store for 80% off. I don't think I looked them up. I think I just got them because I knew that they were going to be cheap. I had $5.60 into them. And I think I was expecting to sell them for like $20 or something, because New Balance to me is very similar to how I feel about selling Nike sneakers. They all look the same. I don't know which ones are good or bad. I just don't. And I even if I wanted to learn that information, it won't stay in my brain. So I just picked them up. And then when I looked up comps, I was like, oh my gosh, like comps for these are actually really good. I think I listed them for $75 everywhere, and I listed them kind of lower than what other people were listing them for. And the reason I did that is because my shoes didn't have the insoles. They had taken the insoles out. So I definitely noted that in the description, took pictures of the inside of the shoe and everything. I got an offer the day I listed these on Depop for $56.30. And nowadays when I list things on Depop, I have the buyer pay for shipping. This is what I've learned after getting burned a handful of times. So I had the buyer pay for shipping. And so I didn't even have to pay for shipping on this one. My net profit was $48.01. In one day, that item sold. So some New Balance does really well. This is a version of New Balance sneakers that do really well. There were comps where these had sold for $75, $80 used. They look to me exactly like the New Balance shoes that I sold in last week's What Sold video for like $18 or something. I was very happy with that. Always excited about flipping things the same day and making a $48 net profit. Are you kidding me? Love to see it. Also on the 15th on Poshmark, I sold this dress by the brand Sheragano. Don't know her, have never heard of that brand. It was a maroon long sleeve dress with like vegan leather pockets on it. It was in a women's size 8, had some stretch to it. I could tell this was not gonna be a winner of an item, but I listed it because I got it from a reseller buyout probably 4 years ago. It's been a long time. 3 years ago? Maybe it's 3 years ago. It sold for $15. I had $3.92 into it, and so my net profit was $8.08. I didn't need to list that, but here we are. Also on the 15th on eBay, here's another jean sale. I sold this pair of J. Crew Factory Flex Stretch straight fit blue jeans in a men's size 36 by 30. These actually had a big rip in the back. I want to say like under the pocket or something. They still sold for $13.99. That was my 30% off sale price. And so my net profit was $12.52 because I didn't have any money into those. I got those from Reseller Supply Co., which is a wholesale company that sells boxes to resellers to resell. And they gave me some stuff for free so that I could show you the kind of stuff that you might get in your boxes. And that's why my net profit was $12.52. I also sold on the 15th on eBay this Flax, which is one of my favorite brands to sell. It's a great log and look brand, but it was this black log and look oversized relaxed fit short sleeve shirt in a women's size medium. Now, this was part of my sale, so it sold for $17.49, which was 30% off of my asking price. I probably could have gotten at least $25 or $30 for it, even with it being a very basic black t-shirt, and that's because the brand is pretty great. I only had $3 into it from a $3 tag sale from the end of December at one of my favorite consignment stores, and so my net profit on that was $12.59. Also on eBay, I sold this pair of new with tags Skechers Go Walk, Go Flex black high-waisted mid-calf leggings in a women's size medium. Those sold for $10. I got that from Reseller Supply Co. as well. So I didn't have any money into them, and my net profit was $8.34. And then my last sale of the week was on eBay as well. It was this Talbot faux fur green wool blend cable knit poncho in a women's size small. That I got during Black Friday at a local consignment store for 80% off. It sold for $24.49, which was part of my 30% off sale. And so I only had $3.60 into it, and my net profit was $17.42. Y'all know how much I love selling Talbots, and I was very happy with that sale. So my numbers for the week. On eBay, I sold 10 items for a gross sales amount of $297.66. I had $25.49 into those 10 items, and so my net profit on eBay was $165.20. I had one depop sale, and that was for $56.30. My cost of goods was $5.60, and so my net profit on depop was $48.01. And on Poshmark, I sold a whopping 16 items. 13 of those went to Norma. So if it hadn't been for her, this would be a very different what sold video. But that was for a gross sales amount of $469. I had $112.65 into those items. And so my net profit on Poshmark was $254.58. In total, I sold 27 items for a gross sales amount of $822.96. I had $143.74 into those items. And so my net profit for the week was $467.79. As you know, I've been sharing how much money I've earned up until this point in the year 2025. And so right now I'm sitting at $3,010.66 in net profit for the year, which I'm happy with. I'm really happy with this week's sales, happy that running a sale on eBay kind of took me out of eBay jail, and really thankful for Norma and her huge purchase for me. So thank you guys for getting this far. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button. If you want to watch more What Sold videos, I do have a playlist that I will link right here. But I hope you have a wonderful week of sales. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!